It seems the Taliban have not changed after all. How does the global community plan to hold them accountable? Most Western countries have opted for sanctions. They have frozen Afghan reserves worth billions of dollars. The idea is to squeeze the Taliban regime. However, unfortunately, the Afghan people are also feeling the squeeze. Thousands of families are staring at food insecurity. Infectious disease are on the rise. The United Nations is calling Afghanistan the worst humanitarian crisis on earth. How can the country escape this cycle of misery? What role must the global community play?
This is the Musa Kala Hospital in Helmand. Just last month, they took a difficult decision. Only cholera patients would be admitted from now on, and the rest would have to make other arrangements. Once inside, you realize why. Dozens of patients languish in fragile beds, drips needled into their wrists.
We have 550 patients. 550 patients. This is the very large amount of the patients. So we take the decision to stop the other services and to control the acute watery diarrhea and cholera patients. Because of space wars, we don't have a lot of space wars.
The scenes are similar at the Boost Hospital. It is run jointly by the Health Ministry and Doctors Without Borders. Many of the beds host tiny, frail patients, children as young as 6 months old. Some are suckling on syringes of milk. Others struggle to breathe as they fight to regain strength. For the patients here, it's a nightmare.
Before it was better since the Islamic Emirate ruling. We can't find any bread. I can't give milk to my children. We do not have anything. For the last 3 or 4 nights, we haven't had a proper warm meal. Before it was better, we could not find things to eat. Now there is nothing. Earlier it was better. We could not find things to eat.
The hospital staff are trying their best, but the challenge before them is daunting. What the UN calls the worst humanitarian crisis on the planet. First, the numbers. Over 90% of the households have not been able to get enough food in the last year. About 20 million people face food insecurity. That's more than half the total population. Price of cooking oil is up 55%. Price of wheat is up 68%. And almost 23 million Afghans, including 3.2 million children, are at risk of malnutrition. So how exactly did the Afghan economy collapse so fast? Even before the Taliban's conquest, things were looking bad. 75% of the GDP was built on donations. After August 15th, that money disappeared. The World Bank was instructed to freeze $2 billion in aid. The International Monetary Fund followed suit. Overnight, Afghans lost their major source of income. The same month, the Afghan Central Bank lost its credentials and along with it, their reserves. Afghanistan owned nearly $9 billion in foreign reserves. This was mostly held abroad. President Joe Biden decided to freeze that money. Neither the central bank nor the Taliban can access it.
The problem we have is that the money we do have is blocked because there is no money in the banks. When the Afghanistan bank or the central bank has no money, it cannot give to the private banks. And when the private banks don't have money, they can't give money to the people or provide any service to the public.
Humanitarian aid cannot replace a well-functioning economy. And for that, the Taliban must reform. Only then can they access Afghan reserves frozen abroad. But considering their one-year report card, there is little hope. South Asia Bureau, WION World is One.